As you guys know, I've talked about it before, how much respect I have for the Wichita State program and Coach Mills and their coaching staff and their players. I mean, that's a really good team, and so we're fortunate to get that win tonight. They've been playing very well, and feel, again, fortunate that we got a conference win tonight.
You guys have now held them to the two lowest point totals of the season. What is going to lead to that from your perspective?
I mean, honestly, again, we played good on offense versus UTSA on Sunday. We had, we shot the ball well. This is not a team, and I've said this before, and we say it in our locker room. We're going to hang our hat on defense, and if we play well on defense, it doesn't mean that we're going to have good performance every time, or the stats are going to line up that way. But the bottom line is that there's a huge emphasis on defense, and it just happens these two games, were two of our better defensive games, and it worked. But it's nothing to do with Wichita State or any other specific team. It's that we have to be good on defense because we're not going to go win a game in the 80s and 90s.
Coach, as you go through conference play and play these teams multiple times, I guess are you kind of pleased about the adjustments you guys have been able to make from game to game, seeing the team twice?
Yeah, I think that's always something that's good because there's two things. Number one, if you are fortunate enough to win the first game, we know what it feels like to lose the first time you play a team. There is something you really, that is even more. So every conference game, it doesn't matter if it's the first time you play them, second time. If you play a team 3 times like we did South Florida last year in the conference tournament. But if you do happen to drop one of the early ones, of course there's an added edge, an added fire to play them again. But from that standpoint, both teams are just going to evaluate everything from the first game. They're going to evaluate everything that's been happening recently. They're a different team than they were the first time we played, and I think we're a different team the first time we played. That game was somewhere in January, and so you approach it that way. But to be able to come back and win a second time, sure. I mean, that meant, you take, you want that.
Coach, the team's a lot fresher. Did the bye week help you guys?
I think so. I think we've tried to do some things, we've tried to do some things when we had that bye week where we got some extra time in the gym, and I've said it many times, and just in terms of trying to stay fresh and recharge mentally, recharge physically, catch up academically. And, we had one extra day this week with it being a Thursday game. We didn't just take off. I mean, we practiced, but we did adjust it. Again, there's a lot of science that goes into it. I think Keith Pugh and Nate Clark and our coaching staff with scouting and everything, the way they prepare the guys, I think this is as much a credit to them to be able to come out and play well in back-to-back games as is anything. I mean, Keith, Nate, and our coaching staff, I think, do a phenomenal job.
Coach, Ezra played 13 minutes tonight, not too much in the second half. Is it a matchup thing, or is he a little banged up? Or?
No, I think it was just more of a matchup thing and a flow thing. That's it. They have a unique way that they guard, switching everything 1 through 4 on and off the ball, and then they're in a deep, deep drop with a true shot blocker and a paint presence in Quincy Ballard or Kenny Poto, and it just was a matchup thing, and that's it, just the way the flow of the game was.
30 for Brandon on Saturday, another 21 tonight. What have you seen from him in his scoring touch the last 2 games?
I think not only the way he's been working, and we talked about it after and before the UTSA game, the way he's been working, putting time in the gym, but I just said this out on the radio also, that for Brandon and RJ, they're consistent. They're consistent, and what happens is, of course, there's a target on their back, and we talked about that target really being on their back when other guys aren't really stepping up and contributing as much, and the floor gets tighter and tighter for those guys. Well, all of a sudden, Cam puts the ball in the basket, Jaden goes 2 for 4, Bobby goes 4 for 8. I mean, high efficient numbers, and so that stretches the defense a little bit. And I think RJ and Brandon, they don't need a lot of space. They don't need a bunch of volume shots to get in the rhythm, and if they can get a couple, it really helps. And if they're focusing in on those guys, then the other guys can go do it. And I thought those guys helped Brandon and RJ get going as much as anything.
Coach, RJ needs 6 more points to have 1,000 points for his career. I think it's like the 34th or 35th player in the history of the program. What does RJ mean to you and the program?
Yeah, I've said this so many times, and I'll always say this about RJ. As great of a player as he is, as much as he does on the court basketball-wise, he's 10 times that, the person and the teammate. And in terms of being a coachable, incredible teammate to his teammates and to the coaches that get a chance to be around him, and just feel very fortunate to have a chance to coach him, and we love him. We love him, and that's what he means to us.
Coach, in your second year in the program on Sunday, you have the opportunity to get the 7th win in AAC, which would be the most in program history. What does that say about what you built here?
I just be exciting to have a 7th win. That's it. I'm not thinking about last year or any before. You know, I remember being asked this so many times when I was fortunate enough to become the head coach here. Because of the past, how is it going to be different now? And I'm just going to keep saying it, that what has happened in the past, including what happened last season, is irrelevant to what we're trying to do Sunday. Sunday is a chance to be above 500 in conference play in late February. And that's where you want to be when you're fighting, to finish the season strong.
Coach, when in that first half, Brandon hit that three-pointer kind of by the logo. I mean, it's 25 on the shot clock still, but just, I guess, taking that shot and it goes in, what does that tell you just about the way his mentality, I guess, at this point?
It's all the time he puts in here in this gym and being in here, and he knows if he's open, he knows he's got the complete green light. And we may have been on the bench yelling at him to shoot it when he caught it, because when Brandon is open, we feel real confident with him shooting.
Anything else? What do you kind of expect out of Tulane coming into Sunday now?
I haven't had a chance. I've watched them. I know how great of a team they are, and Ron Hunter and what they do, and they are so explosive on offense, and they run that matchup zone on defense. And we had 2 really good games last year versus them in a very unique situation, as we all know. Play Wednesday, travel, play again on a Friday. But we know it's going to be an incredible test for us. I mean, again, that we're all in the pack trying to fight for the same thing.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.